So you have a ton of clothes, but never have anything to wear because none of those clothes look right on you? Well, come on in my closet and let me help you. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to my channel. This is What I Wore to the Store, and my name is Sophia, and I have over 40 years of experience wearing clothes. Basically, my channel is all about helping the average woman figure out what to wear and how to look their best, going to everyday regular places, picking up the kids from school, running to the post office, we're not going to Target, so Kroger? Well, if those are the things that you want to know how to do, well, I'm here to help you. As promised, last week I told you guys that we were going to do a deep dive into a theory developed by a man called David Kibbe. David Kibbe developed a system called the Body Image Identity Test, or typing system. I don't know. I'll put it on the screen. I can't remember. And it was laid out in his book, Metamorphosis. If you can find that book, it's probably going to cost you a whole lot of money. In fact, it's going for like 300 plus on eBay, okay? Or you've come to the right place, because I am going to do a series going in a deep dive of everything he teaches in the book Metamorphosis. Metamorphosis is a book that he wrote to help women determine their body type, similar to the other typing systems and the other essence systems like a square or a triangle, or you've also heard pear and apple. Well, he decided to come up with a different way of categorizing the women that he was styling, and he decided to share that with the masses in his book Metamorphosis. Excuse me, my nose is running today. Don't ask me why. I live in a valley. Okay. Anyway, today we are going to take his body typing quiz. Now, I have a bit of a disclaimer before you begin this quiz, okay? This quiz is developed to help you determine your Kibbe body type. Now, this is not something you have to live by for the rest of your life, but I'm telling you, it will help give you at least a foundation and a framework of where to begin whenever you are getting dressed. I will also say that David Kibbe uses words that he resonated with that may not resonate with you, or that those words might also resonate with you, but in a negative way. Let me explain. He uses words like feminine and delicate and sloped and broad and muscular, right? And as women, we can gravitate to certain words more than others, and we don't want to relate to certain words more than others. I want you to keep in mind before you begin this quiz, these are just words. He had to use something to help himself develop a system and to categorize people, okay? I want you to be as honest as possible. It doesn't mean you're not pretty. It doesn't mean you are not feminine. It doesn't mean you're not a woman. It doesn't mean anything. This is just to give you a place to start. I also want to say David Kibbe is a white man, all right? And I feel that his typing system leans towards white, Anglo-Saxon, Caucasus Mountains type people, okay? So this means that there are portions in the quiz and there are things he uses to type women that are not phenotypical of black women, or they are. For instance, he may use things like curvy. Well, a lot of women can be curvy but still be considered more masculine body types. A lot of black women have booties, no matter what their body type is, okay? You can have hips and not have a butt. You can have a butt and not have hips. Be honest when you're taking the quiz. He also mentions things like nose width and lips and fullness in that area and hair texture. When you get to these questions, I want you to compare yourself to other women of your race. If you're Asian, same thing with the nose and all those things, like compare them to other women of your ethnicity. Did I say that right? Is it race or ethnicity? It's been a long day, you guys. Other people that look like you. Last thing I need you all to do is you need to put on a tank top and some leggings or something very tight, very form-fitting, or child, put on nothing at all. That's your business. Put on something like that so that you can see the silhouette of your body. Face forward. We're not talking about what you look like from the side. This is not necessarily how you look in three-dimensional space when you start to take this quiz. This is more two-dimensional. He does mention bust, but that's about it. I need you to take a picture of yourself wearing this tight outfit. The last thing I need you to do is take your shoulder width measurements, your waist measurement, and your hip measurement, okay? You're gonna take these because where you may think you have broad shoulders based off your picture or wide hips based off your picture, you might not. But what won't lie is your measurements. Get you a drink. I'm telling you, it's a long test. Long enough. At the end, you are going to tally up how many A's you have, how many B's you have, how many C's, how many D's, how many E's. Not just, oh, I mostly have A's. You're going to want, based off of his test, you need to know how many of each you have. I think that's it. Let's begin with bone structure. My vertical line is not your height. We're looking for how tall you appear to be. A, long. People always think I'm taller than I really am. B, moderately long. People sometimes guess I'm slightly taller, but not very much. C, moderate. People usually guess my height correctly and aren't at all surprised by it. D, smallish. People usually guess I'm slightly smaller and my curvy figure is more noticeable than my height. And E, petite. It's very obvious to everyone that I am small in stature. Next question. The shape of my shoulders is best described as A, narrow, sharp, B, broad, blunt, C, symmetrical, even, D, sloped but tapered, E, sloped and rounded. Next question. The length of my arms and legs is best described as A, elongated, narrow, B, elongated, broad, C, moderate, in even proportion to my height and upper torso, D, small, slightly shortish, E, small, very short in proportion to my height and upper torso. That question is asking you about the length of your legs in comparison to your torso. Do you have really long legs and a short torso, or do you have a really long torso and short legs? That's what it's asking you. Next question. The size and shape of my hands and feet are best described as A, long and narrow, B, large and broad, C, moderate, neither long, broad, delicate, nor small, D, small, narrow, delicate, E, small and slightly wide. The overall shape of my body is best described as A, long, lean, sinewy, B, broad, tending toward muscular, C, symmetrical, evenly proportioned, D, very shapely and delicate hourglass figure, E, very soft, lusciously curved, a ripe hourglass. Next question. My bust line or torso is best described as A, flat, taut. I never seem to add flesh here even when I'm overweight. B, wide, broad. I tend to add a little flesh here when overweight, but not much. C, moderate, in even proportion to my waist and hips. D, shapely, curved, more prominent than my waistline. My torso is slightly short and I add flesh here when overweight. E, very prominent, lusciously curved. Whether I'm thin or heavy, I'm always busty. Okay? My waistline is best described as A, elongated but boyishly tapered. This is true even when I'm overweight. B, elongated but tends to be very straight if thin or thick if overweight. C, moderate, slightly defined but not overly cinched. D, very small in proportion to my bust and hips. E, softly defined but tends to be slightly wide. My hip line could best be described as tapered, straight, and boyishly narrow. However, I do tend to thicken here when I'm overweight. B, straight, slightly tapered, and slightly wide. Excess weight always seems to collect at my hips. C, moderate, in even proportion to my bust and waistline. D, shapely and rounded, more pronounced than my waistline. E, extremely soft and rounded, whatever my weight. The flesh on my upper arms and thighs could best be described as A. Long, lithe, and sinewy. B. Elongated and tending toward muscular. C. Moderate, neither extremely soft nor extremely muscular or sinewy. D. Soft, slightly short. E. Very soft, slightly wide and fleshy, slightly short. The shape of my jawline is best described as A. Sharp, either very pointed, very prominent, or very square. B. Broad or blunt, slightly wide. C. Moderate, symmetrical, neither wide, sharp, nor rounded. D. Delicate, tapered, and slightly narrow. E. Rounded or softly wide. The shape of my nose is best described as A. Sharp or prominent. B. Broad or blunt, but on the large side, possibly wide. C. Moderate, symmetrical, neither overly large nor overly rounded. D. Delicate, tapered, narrow. E. Rounded, softly wide, but not large. The shape of my cheekbones is best described as A. High, prominent. B. Wide. C. Symmetrical or moderate. D. Delicate, narrow, slightly rounded. E. Rounded, softly wide, apple-cheeked. The shape of my eyes is best described as A. Narrow, straight, closely spaced, or almond-shaped. B. Narrow, straight, widely spaced. C. Evenly spaced, symmetrical, moderate size. D. Rounded, slightly close together, possibly slightly almond-shaped or upturned. E. Very round, very large. The shape of my lips is best described as straight, narrow, sometimes described as thin-lipped. B. Straight, strong, slightly broad, but not full. C. Moderate, evenly shaped, neither straight nor overly full. D. Slightly full and rounded. E. Very full, very rounded, and very luscious. The flesh on my cheekbones could best be described as A. Taut and flat, even when overweight. B. Fairly taut, but I tend to get a little puffy when I put on weight. C. Moderate, soft, but not puffy. D. Soft and fleshy, and may get extremely full with excess weight. E. Very soft, very fleshy, very round, even when I'm at my thinnest. A. Extremely fine textured, silky smooth, either straight or with a slight bend. B. Strongly textured, coarse, heavy, either thick and straight or wavy and curly. C. Moderate texture, slightly wavy or with a bend. D. Moderately thick, with bend, wave, or curl. E. Extremely thick with lots of wave or curl with extreme soft surface. Okay, so scoring. A is extreme yang or sharp. B is moderate yang, strong. C is balanced between the extremes. D, moderate yin or delicate. E is extreme yin or soft, okay? So if your dominant answers are in column A, your image identity is dramatic. If your dominant answers are column E, your image identity is romantic. If your dominant answers are in column C, your image identity is classic. If your dominant answers are column B, your image identity is natural. If your answers are an extreme mixture of the extreme opposites of column A and E, your image identity is gamine. If your answers are dominant column A with several answers in column E as a strong secondary force, your image identity is soft dramatic. Note, to qualify for this theme, your bone structure should be yang dominant while your body type or flesh and your facial features should be primarily yin. Okay? If your answers are dominant column E and or column D with several answers in column A as a secondary force, your image identity is theatrical romantic. Once again, that's if you have mainly column E and or D with several answers as column A, you're theatrical romantic. Note, to qualify for this theme, your body type or flesh and your facial features should be yin dominant, while your bone structure should be slightly yang influenced, okay? If your answers are dominant column C with several other answers as column A or B, you're a classic. To qualify for this theme, your body type or flesh and features should be primarily balanced between the extremes of yin and yang, while your bone structure should be more yang influenced. If your answers are dominant column C with several answers in columns D and or E, you're a soft classic. To qualify for this theme, your bone structure should be primarily balanced between the extremes of yin and yang, while your body type and facial features should be more yin influenced. So you may have a balance in your bone structure, but when you look at your face and your body, it will be more soft and delicate, okay? If your answers are dominant column B with several answers from column A, you're a flamboyant natural. To qualify for this theme, your bone structure should be extremely yang dominant, a little more muscular, a little more athletic, a little more lean, a little more long, while your body type or flesh and facial features will be moderately yang. You'll have a little yang mixed in. If your answers are dominant, column B, with several answers from column D and or E, you're a soft natural. To qualify for this theme, your bone structure should be moderately yang dominant, while your body type and facial features will be yin influenced. If your answers have nearly an equal mixture of opposite extremes from column A and column E, while you also have several answers in column B, you're a flamboyant gamine. To qualify for this theme, your bone structure and body type or flesh should be yang dominant, while your features and stature are yin dominant. Your facial bones will be from the strong yang side. If your answers have nearly an equal mixture of opposite extremes from columns A and E, yet you also have several extra answers in column D, you're a soft gamine. To qualify for this theme, your bone structure should be yang dominant, while your body type or flesh would be yin dominant. Your facial features should be extremely yin dominant, very delicate, very small, very feminine, quote unquote, facial features. All right, you guys, I hope you enjoyed the test and I hope you've gotten your results. Next week, we are going to do a very deep dive on these different body types so that you can know, okay, now that I have the result, what does this mean? But before we go, you know what it's time for. All right, we're gonna pick one. Let's go with this. These are my rib cage straight ankle Levi's jeans. Every week I pick a pair of jeans from this hefty stack where I show you how I would style these jeans. So this is how I would style my rib cage ankle straight jeans on just a regular day. Okay, loafers would be the typical thing to wear. I said, no, I need something a little more feminine, a little more delicate because I am a soft natural. So I need something a little bit softer and something to mix things up with this masculine blazer. I wore some ballet flats and this little shirt. Look at my tag out, y'all. Anyway, yeah, this is how I wear this. This is the awkward part of the video where you just rock back and forth. Here I am putting the jacket back on and peace sign. Bye, y'all. See you next time. All right, you guys, this is the end of the video, for real. Thank you so much for watching. Come back next week so we can learn what to actually do with the information that we gathered today. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please click like and subscribe and click that notification bell so you know the next time I upload, because it might be a surprise because I'm still working on my schedule. All right, see you guys later.